Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title to this video suggests, we're going to be discussing non-compete agreements here in the Kingdom of Thailand. This is a general overview. It's meant to be just provide some basic insights into how non-compete agreements work, if at all, here in the Kingdom. It should be noted, as previously mentioned, I'm an American trained attorney. I am the Managing Director of the firm. We do have Thai legal staff on hand, including attorneys, lawyers, and as well as various other professionals here on staff that assist in these matters more hands-on. This is simply an overview video to provide insight to those who are interested in these matters generally, and basically provide some insight and maybe some guideposts, if you will, in order to understand where one sits with respect to non-compete agreements here in the Kingdom, and how best to go about finding a legal professional to assist in drafting a non-compete agreement or a non-compete clause within a greater employment agreement here in the Kingdom. For those who are unaware, non-compete agreements are pretty much what they sound like. I've heard them described in the past as covenants not to compete, etc. Basically, a non-compete agreement is an agreement between two parties that stipulates that in the event of certain conditions precedent, one party will not compete against another party. Generally speaking, the non-compete agreement usually stipulates a given geographical area. It usually stipulates a given duration of time. Here in the Kingdom, Thailand, in my opinion, and this is again as sort of a foreign legal observer looking at their system from sort of an outsider's perspective, if you will, and having worked with various legal professionals here in the Kingdom with respect to non-compete agreements specifically. It's my opinion Thailand, I won't say takes a dim view with respect to non-compete agreements, but with respect to the free movement of labor, I think that the overriding policy thinking within the judiciary, as well as the legislative branches here in the Kingdom, as well as the executive branches, is sort of a paradigm that basically dictates that, you know, look, we really want to encourage free movement of labor. The notion of non-compete agreements or sort of arbitrarily being bound or kept from working in one's given field or a field similar to something that one's trained in. That sort of restriction is, again, not necessarily, I won't necessarily say they take a dim view of it, but I will say that I think that, you know, they look a bit askance at documents or instruments that would look to hinder especially a Thai national's ability to work in their chosen field. And in the cases where they do allow them, there's going to be a lot of scrutiny. In fact, I think it's safe to use the term strict scrutiny with respect to the provisions of the non-compete agreement. It's been my experience that there's only going to be a relatively short period of time that a non-compete agreement is going to be enforceable. And it's also my opinion, again, based on just prior experience, that it's going to be a relatively constricted scope of geography that's going to be enforced with respect to enforcing a non-compete agreement within a given area. So that being said, there are ways in which to draft a non-compete agreement that one can sit back and rely with a pretty high degree of certainty that the thing would survive scrutiny of a later court or something of that nature, or later tribunal. I think that there's pretty good ways of crafting a document that will go ahead and survive that scrutiny. But that being said, especially in the Kingdom here, and we've done videos on this specifically, especially where they don't utilize precedent in their making of Thai legal opinions, again, the certainty levels one can have with respect to these issues are not at the same level that one can have or one can sort of enjoy in sort of a common law jurisdiction. That's not to say it's good, bad, or indifferent. In my opinion, I've come to rather respect the Thai legal system because it operates on a case-by-case basis, and in a lot of ways there's something to be said for making decisions based on the unique circumstances of a given situation rather than necessarily relying on, you know, sort of antiquated thinking. But that being said, for the lay people watching this video and for those interested in this issue, just sort of as a general matter, non-compete agreements can be properly drafted. One can fall back on a reasonable degree of certainty that they'll be enforced. but one needs to have them properly drafted by a legal professional who's dealt with them specifically and over a fairly long period of time, and they need to be drafted in such a way that they comport with not only the laws on the subject, but also the policy thinking of those who may later be interpreting such an agreement.